Hi, Peggy Watkins here with a deeper dive of Hillbilly Chess, the Bastard Pawn, now available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Let's dive in today. So today, instead of picking something out from the book, I actually thought that I would talk about things that I learned from my pawn years. So if you notice my eyes looking down a lot, it's because I wrote it out and I don't want to forget anything because I got some good stuff on here. So things I learned from my pawn years. We humans, we could really learn a lot of really good lessons in life if we would understand and kind of digest things a little bit differently. So if we looked at things in a different hue and we thought about it, okay, this was a really shitty thing that happened and this was a bad person that did this to me, but I understand that, but I'm also thinking that might be a good life lesson. Why is that a good life lesson, you're asking? Are you fucking crazy? Maybe. Maybe not. I think some of those are good life lessons because I think sometimes that the bad and evil people can show us such bad harshness that when we see that, that's a lesson to us to never be that way, to never do that to other people, to be better, to strive to be a decent person, a loving person, positive, not a negative person. So that's why I think we could learn lessons if we understood that sometimes the bad things are proper lessons. And just to add to that, so many times when abusers are calling kids, ugly, fat, stupid, retarded, and they just, the names go on and on. You're too skinny, you got too many freckles, you got stupid, ugly red hair. I used to have red hair. You have ugly red hair, you're too blonde, you're too this, you're too that, whatever, anything, whatever they say. Eventually a kid will believe that and they will start hating themselves for those reasons. So, yeah. I just wanted to add that in there. And the reason why I say that is because there was a time when I questioned my mental stability. I thought maybe I was stupid, slow, and retarded because I heard that a lot. But of course, I had teachers and a few relatives and I had a lot of friends in school that, when I would say something like that about myself, they would say, no, that's not true, Peggy. And they would they would tell me differently, and they would, really, I had one in particular aunt that really pounded into me that I was a good person and that I was worth something, and that was my Aunt Opal. I absolutely adored her. She was a really good person. And I respected her a lot. So for that, when we have those people in our life that say all of those mean things, we also, if we listen real closely, we probably have some other people, and they don't have to be family. They can be friends. They can be an acquaintance. They can just be a stranger. But if they're giving you positive vibes, go off of the positive vibes, because chances are you're a really good person, and chances are you're probably really, really smart and beautiful inside and out. And I think sometimes we just need to be told that. So I'm telling you that today. You're welcome. Well, let's see, what else? I stopped hearing my abusive voices long ago, but it took considerable time and work. That's the truth. It really did. It took a lot of hard work for that. Finally, I let them go, and it was much more complicated than it sounds. But you can let them go. For me, I had to walk away for for just me. I mean, it was a mental mind fuck to constantly be belittled by my sister and my dad. And I would be in the same room with them, and we would be just having somewhat of a normal conversation, and I would say something, just interjecting into the conversation, and either my sister or my dad would make a comment that was completely not necessary, and then they would both look at each other, laugh about it, and they just always made me feel small and worthless. And there were many times I sat there and I thought, oh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, go ahead, poke fun. And when I would leave, sometimes I would cry on the way home, and I would say to myself, why do you go around them, Peggy? Why? And I always drew back to the same thing. Because they're my family. They're my family. You know what? My family, those two never gave two shits about me. They didn't. I had someone who was around during those times, many times, and he came to me and he told me, why do you stay around them? They belittle you. They laugh at you. They talk about you behind your back. They always have. They always will. It's just what they do. And I thought, damn, that's coming from, I'm trying to protect this person that said that. But that's coming from this person that has always been around at the same time and has seen it. And so that was quite an eye-opener for me. I hope that you get your eye-opener, and I hope that you realize that you can walk away from family, and sometimes it's the best thing that you can ever do is walking away from them. And so many times, I used to go to church. I guess I'm in heathen, and I don't go anymore. Different reasons why I stopped. Not because I don't believe in God. I do. That's not an issue for me. So many times I would be in church and I would try to explain a few things to, one or two of the people that I thought were a close friend, and they would cut me off and they would say, oh, honey, you just need to pray for them and forgive them and go break bread with them. I don't think so. For fuck's sake. Letting shit go doesn't mean you're going to ever forget it. You're human. You're never going to forget it. So when someone tells you, oh, in order to forgive, you have to forget. Horse shit. You're never going to forget. You're human. That's the way God made you. So there you go. There's that. Now, forgiving, walking away, letting it go means something completely different. It means that I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at all you've done to me. I'm going to look at who you are, what you've done, who you are to me, why I think maybe you did it, or anything else you want to add into that. But bottom line is, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, okay, well, there we go. That came from you. And you know what? I don't need your negativity in my life. So I'm going to walk away from you. And that's the end of that. Walk away, smile, be happy. Don't allow them back in your life because you don't have to. I mean, you just don't. I get so aggravated when I hear people say, you can't forgive unless you forget it and never bring it up again. You have to let it go. That's not true. You're always going to remember it. And you know what? You should remember it, because why do you want to forget something that was so horrible? Why do you want to forget that and then let that person back into your life to what? To do it again and again and again and again? Because guess what? They won't stop. That's just it. They're not going to stop. Anyways, it's ridiculous. Forgiveness isn't shoving the bad under a rug and never speaking of it again. It's not. Forgiveness is looking at yourself and saying, I'm going to forgive myself for allowing your dumbass to do this to me. And then I'm going to walk away from you and never allow you to do this to me again. There, I'm done. That's it. That's my belief, and I'm sticking to it. So there it is. There are some scholars that claim that forgiveness, in order for forgiveness to be effective, that there should be an exchange. And one who harmed must admit their wrongdoings and apologize. Never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It might. I shouldn't say never. There could be some people who say, oh my God, you know what? I really effed up and I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. When those people do that on their own, they probably are sorry and they probably do mean it. And they probably will never do it again. Maybe. If they do, think about that, evaluate it, and figure out what to do. Do you want to continue on that road or do you want to take a new one? Yeah, well, there you go. I think some scholars are wrong. And again, this is just my own. I think whoever said that, the scholar that said that is probably wrong. Because I don't believe that you're going to get someone who abused somebody to look at them and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. My abusers will never do that. As a matter of fact, my abusers are probably sitting back right now thinking, you little bitch. You told. Yeah, well, I did. I told my story. I told my story. You have your own story. You have your own view. Tell yours. I'm telling mine. So anyways, let me move on. Learning to love and care for yourself. That's going to be the big one. Because we have to do that. Once we've been abused for so long and for so much, we have to take our what do you call that? It's almost like your I don't know, some clock inside you. I can't think of the name of it. But anyways, I'll think of it probably after I get off the video and I'll go, oh yeah. So anyways, it's like taking your clock and instead of going clockwise, we go counterclockwise, and we have to unwind things within us, and we have to learn to do things differently. And by doing things differently, we learn who we are, and we learn our worth, and we learn that, oh wow, my worth is worth something. I'm worth something, and I deserve to be respected, and I deserve to be loved, and I deserve to have a happy life. That's learning to love yourself. When you learn to love yourself, so many things are so much better for you in life. So let me move on here. Let the bad teach them. Yeah, I kind of messed up there. I'll have to cut that. So let me move on. I want to talk about when I had my first child. There's nothing like for me, there was nothing like giving birth to my firstborn son. I don't think I truly knew what real love was until I gave birth to him and the nurse wrapped him, and I was laying on that table in the delivery room, and she put this little bundle in my arms, and I looked at him and I cried and I said, I'm your mommy. And it hit me. I have a child. I'm 16 years old and I have a baby. You know, one, I don't know what I'm going to do with this little critter, but he sure is cute. And I thought, he's mine and I have to protect him, and I have to make sure that immediately I have to make sure that he's strong enough to overcome people like I've had to overcome. I didn't need to think that way then, but I did. And I think maybe that thinking, I feel like I was a little bit hard on my boys raising them. As I was a single mom raising two boys for a while, quite a few years. And, you know, many times I was working two jobs. For a couple years there, I was working three, two part-time and a full-time. It seemed like I never had time for anything. But I kept us off welfare, and that was important to me because I grew up on welfare, and I didn't want my kids growing up on that crap. And I say crap, but I don't mean it in a harsh way. I just mean that I grew up on it, and it was a sting for me growing up on it, and I didn't want to raise my boys on it. I think that it's a good program for people out there who actually need it, but I don't think it's a lifestyle. When I was growing up, purely a lifestyle. I thought everybody had welfare. I thought everybody stood in commodity lines to get peanut butter and cheese and cereal and fucking potted meat. Ooh, I read the ingredients to that stuff when I got older. But it does taste good. I won't deny that it tastes good. So I say that in all honesty for just me. For me, I just didn't want to raise my boys on welfare, and I didn't. Not saying that I never had to. There was twice in my life, being a single mom, that I did have to go, and I applied. I applied for food stamps and a Medicaid card. I was working in Jackson, Michigan, and I wasn't making enough money. I just wasn't, to pay rent, to pay electric, to pay my heat, to keep my car rolling, to pay for daycare, and you know, just everything else I had to pay for. I was making $5 an hour. That's when, that's when minimum wage was, I think it was 4 something, so I was making a little bit over minimum wage, but still, if you calculate that, $5 an hour, my rent was like, I think my rent was $350 for a 2-bedroom, and I had to pay my electric and my heat. I got my water and my garbage paid for, but I had to maintain my car. I had to buy groceries. I did need a phone in case of emergencies or whatever. I didn't have cable for a long time because I couldn't afford it. So we just had a TV, and I had the old rabbit ears that came up, and I put the I put some tinfoil on them so that I could maybe, weasel in there and get something. And I got channel 6 and 10 pretty good. We did have a VCR, and we did watch movies, so there was always that. And Jewel Lasco had great movies for like 50 cents on a Friday and Saturday night. You could go rent certain movies for 50 cents a movie, and yeah, we hit it. That was like jackpot. But going back to when I had my son, I had no idea what true love was until my baby was laid in my arms, and my heart just blossomed. I loved my baby more than I loved anything in this world or anyone in this world. I still love my children, more than life itself. Both of them. I have 2 boys and I have 2 stepchildren. And I have daughter-in-laws and hopefully soon to be son-in-law. Not that I was pushing anything out there in case you're listening. But anyways, I have grandkids now, and I just, my immediate family, I love them so much. They're just amazing. And, you know, I just wanted to put that out there. I'm going to kind of wrap this up because I've been rattling on a little bit and we're into like 20 minutes and I think that's really long enough. Thank you so much for letting me rattle on. Thank you for listening. I hope that this was interesting. The lessons, the things that I have learned from my pawn years. I've got more, and maybe I'll finish it up in another, I don't know, maybe a month I'll finish it up or something. But meanwhile, again, a deeper dive. Thanks for joining in with me, Peggy Watkins, and this is my book, Hillbilly Chess, The Bastard Pawn. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. It's also available in Albion, Michigan at Sterling Books and Brew, and it's also available in Battle Creek, Michigan at Barnes & Nobles. So grab a copy, hang out with me, and leave me a review. Tell me something. Email me. And hey, pretty soon on my website, PeggyAWatkins.com, I'm going to be having a newsletter that you can sign up to. How cool is that? All right, peace out.